Thank you, Ms. Livingston, on such short notice, for agreeing to replace Mrs. Cutter tonight. This TV show is very popular, and the children do rely on it. I have taken the liberty of supplying a bedtime story from our church's collection. That's fine. The church's messages are always so good for the children's developing minds. And did you decorate the set as I asked? Oh yes, Ms. Livingston. That her husband could only dream of. She raised her hands, and bolts of fire and steel sprang forth. Buster was torn to shreds by the flying steel. There was blood splattering the entire house. Then she turned to her evil sons, and raised her hands. Then came forth bolts of lightning, severing her sons' hands and legs from their bodies. Blood was spraying 1,000 feet into the air. They bled to death within minutes. Afterwards, all three lifeless corpses were dragged outside by the, now, laughing and jolly women. Later that day, as the sun was setting, while the women were sitting on the porch, enjoying a cup of tea, they watched, with delight, the remains of the evil males being trampled by a stampede of buffalo. They laughed and high-fived as they saw the men being pulverized and pulped. Oh, how they laughed and laughed. And so, the women stayed in the cottage, living in peace and harmony. They offered solace to women in trouble, from all over the kingdom, in what became known as the Safe House of Stomper. The end. I'm Pastor Livingston, and I wish you a good night. With Jazul and as love. Oh hi Bobby. I heard you got out of jail.
Yes, I've only been out 3 days. I don't know who, but someone paid for my release.
Wow. Who?
Actually, I have no idea.
Have you heard the new Jazulina laws?
Oh yeah, I think they're insane.
Be careful what you say. You could go back to jail if you were heard talking like that.
I know. That is one of the most disturbing things. I have a 10-year-old cousin I was teaching to play the cello. Because males are not allowed to be alone with children, I'll have to stop that.
Because no company is allowed to exist unless the CEO is female. My father is probably going to have to sell his company. He is the owner. They design and build helicopter gearboxes. They have never managed to recruit a woman.
Have you seen Paula? I still don't know why she dumped me.
She's in Washington now, with Loy Finn.
Loy Finlay, I remember him. Isn't he the one, a couple of grades above us, who left school to write socialist poetry and campaign for 100% women in parliament?
Believe it or not, he is the one behind these laws. He's influencing Mike Newport.
Well, I say, let's stop him. Who else is going to?
Yes, you were right. Let's do so. I don't know how yet, but yes, we must.
Shake.
Well, Loy, I gather you have more information to pass on, and thank you again for your advice with the Jazulina laws.
You're most welcome.
So, lay it on me.
Yesterday, I went for a casual stroll through town. The misogyny was disgusting. Merchants selling products that openly mocked and devalued women. Hateful, pornographic depictions of women. Displayed in people's lounge rooms, in open view of women. Kids talking to each other, without ever, not once, ever, mentioning the wage gap or sexual violence. The kindergartens those kids go to should all be shut down. Homeless men, sleeping in the subway, making women feel unsafe just going to work. These men are suppressing and domineering business executive women by forcing them to veer away. I mean, can they guarantee there isn't a piece of broken glass in her path? What if she stepped on it? She could bleed to death. Do those bums care? Do they do a half-hourly safety check for the women? I think we well know the answer to that.
Interesting.
People on the street saying, Jesus, instead of so-called Jesus, as they are legally obliged to. People greeting and departing, without saying, with Jazulina's love. And not doing this. They don't care to acknowledge that Jazulina is the path of the sun. And men, not exiting a bus or train carriage when a woman comes on board, clearly stating that they are not interested in her safety from sexual violence. It's disgusting.
Interesting. Well, Loy, thank you very much. I think we are going to have to increase the Jesulina laws even more. Yes, even more. Even more.